Hi everyone, welcome to Art Tarot. Long time no see, and I wish you all a happy new year. So today I would like to talk about who will possibly be our next US president. In this video, I will talk about the possibility of them being the next president of the United States, and if it's possible, what makes them possible, and if it's less likely, and what makes them less likely to be the next president. So if you find this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel, and if you have questions and the things that you would like to know more in upcoming videos, please leave them in the comment section. I'll try to see if I can do them. Currently it is still Mercury retrograde, so I hope this video will go smooth. But I already feel like I'm stuttering. But anyway, today Mercury is going direct, so I think everything should be fine. But if things are not perfect, I hope you can forgive me. Okay, so the first one is Donald Trump. And by the way, I have no preferences, so I just randomly put their names up here, and then do the reading. So I hope you don't mind. Okay. I would like to know if it's possible for Donald Trump to be our next US president. The devil. So okay. So the bottom card is Page of Pentacles and the Devil. So when we pair them together, it's about the Devil is about obsession, restriction, sometimes misfortune, limitations. So I believe that in order to be possible for him to be the next US president, there are a lot of financial stuffs that he need to sort out before he actually can make it through. So, but for the Devil card, I think he is confronting some people or authorities that are very powerful and who doesn't want him to be the president, of course. Because the Devil is a major arcana. So it's not some small energies, it's big energy. And yeah, so at this moment, I don't think that the possibility for him to be the next president is really high because of the Devil card, because it's about the limitation. Is even if he is successful to be the president, I think there are things to be handled, and there are restrictions, and limitations that are pretty serious. So now I would like to ask about if it's possible for Donald Trump to be our next president. Let's say if he is possibly be our next president, what makes him successful and gaining the support from the public? Okay, Page of Cups. Page of Cups is about emotions. So he is pretty good at aligning himself with the emotions of the public or a large group of people. The bottom card is Ace of Swords. So that means he's able to attract his followers to take actions to support him. So, as we all know, and pretty much this is the thing. But there is also a concern when we see Page of Cups and Ace of Swords together, because first of all, they are not major arcana cards. The power is not as strong as the major arcana cards. And secondly, Page of Cups, as I said, it is more about emotions. Emotions has to be accompanied by practicality in order to be successful. So let me put it this way. If Donald Trump is going to be successful in becoming the next US president, there is, first of all, there is a need to know what is the driving force of the emotions of the public. It's not that easy to actually tap into all the emotions of the people when I look into these two cards, because these two cards actually, they're telling me that even though he's able to draw the emotional attention from some people, the amount of people might not be sufficient. If he wants enough emotional attention from people, he needs to know how to do that. And in order to know how to do that, he has to align himself with the current trends that are going forward in the society. But the problem is, as we saw before, we saw the Devil card and the Page Page of Pentacles, they pair together. So I think the financial struggles, maybe not struggles, but financial chaos and limitations that he's facing, all the consequences, I believe that they are actually distracting him from totally aligning with the public and the concerns of the public. So I believe that he's still able to draw the attention from the audience, but certainly it is not easy because of the struggles that he's facing now, the energies that he has been putting into the struggles. Actually, it's possible that these struggles are pulling him away from a lot of people who actually want him to listen to them, to their concerns, because when the public, when there are a lot of people, even though they support him, when they know that they are so consumed by their when they know he is so consumed by the limitations and the struggles himself right now, even though they still support him, it is hard for them to totally support him, because realistically they do have their concerns, and they want the candidate to support their concerns. But as I said, because he is very consumed by the legal stuff and the limitation and the manipulation that he is facing, because devil is also about manipulation. So he has to cut through all those strings in order to really serve the people and serve his supporters. So if he wants to be successful, there's a need to, of course, align himself with the emotions of the public, but at the same time, he has to cut through all the obstacles and leave the obstacles behind, and align himself again with the public. Because I have a feeling that this time he might not be as aligned with the public as last time. Because Ace of Swords and Page of Cups, they even though we cannot ignore the power of emotions, but because these emotions currently, they are not being supported by very concrete and very strong reasonings. So I think this is important for us to know, but definitely there are still months before the elections. So we'll see how it goes. So next I want to talk about what would make Donald Trump not successful and not successful to be our next US president. What will be the reason that we need to know? King of Wands. Hangman. So King of Wands, he is very charismatic and possibly very passionate and has a lot of sexual energy. But when paired with Hangman, it means sacrifice. It means old patterns. So what I can think about is his charisma is fascinating, definitely. But it can also become his weakest point in this election. Because people will start asking if his charisma is enough for us as a country to move forward in order to be a successful country. And people will also ask, is his passion aligned with our passion? And the values of the people? On the other hand, when Hangman is paired with King of Wands, it can mean the decrease of charisma. Maybe he is so consumed by the struggles so that he does not have the attractiveness to actually win the election. Or maybe he is becoming less passionate about being a president because of all the problems that he is facing. Like he would ask himself, is it still worth it? Like, do I still want to do it? So, King of Wands can also be another person who can be very charismatic. He might say something, he might do something that will actually lead to his, how can I put it? I think King of Wands can also be an opponent who has a lot of charisma, and he's just able to find out the weak point of Donald Trump, say something, do something, and make him less desirable. But overall, I would think it is more likely that the passion is dwindling. So the emotional asset that Donald Trump previously has is now not very strong. And I have to point out that because the Hangman is a major arcana. So we're talking about the reason of him not being possible be our next U.S. president, and as the major arcana shows up here, I will say if he has to turn around the tides, if he has to turn around the situation, and the upcoming months there are a lot to do in order to turn around the situation. But as I said, this reading is still pretty early, so we'll see. Okay. So now we'll move forward to the next candidate. Joe Biden. Okay, I want to know, is it possible for Joe Biden to be our next US president again? So there is a Sun card and the bottom is Temperance. So as we all know, the Sun card can be the most wonderful card in the deck, one of the most wonderful card in the deck. It means blessings, to shine, and also partnerships. And Temperance is about compromising. So here are the possibilities. The first one is he will not serve the second term because he has to make a compromise with the power he currently has. If I only look at the Sun card, I would say, 100%, maybe 90%, he will very possibly be our next president. But when I look at the Temperance, I would say I'm not really sure, because Temperance is about compromise. When it's paired with the Sun card, it means a compromise of power. So it's possible that if he will be the next president again, he has to make significant compromises with the others in order to gain the support that he needs. The second scenario is he won't be the president again because of the Temperance. Is about compromise. He has to compromise his power. So one way or the other, he no longer has the power. So that can also mean a compromise. Okay, then we'll see if Joe Biden is possible to be our next president again. makes him possible to be our president again. So the Page of Wands and the Moon card, they represent the strength that Joe Biden can bring in to this election and to support himself to be president again. Page of Wands is about work. The Moon is about emotions, subconscious, and psychology. So what I can think about is, if he's gonna be our president again, then his strongest point is about employment and how people feel about the employment situation. When the election comes, it's possible that the employment situation might get better or not. But anyway, employment will be something that actually enables him to be successful in being re-elected. So I think in the upcoming months, in this year, the employment situation will be a key for his success if he's going to win. Because when people feel like, oh, we have jobs, we earn a living, then people are gonna feel okay to elect him. Even though I'm kind of surprised to see the Sun card because of his age, but I do see the possibilities. But I also feel like it's a 50-50. As I said, the Temperance card might mean that it's a compromise of power. So yeah. So right now, I'm gonna ask about if Joe Biden is not possible to be our next US president, what would be the reason why it's not possible? Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Ace of Pentacles is about the beginning of prosperity, is about investment, is about all kinds of money matters, purchases, monetary transactions. Queen of Swords is a person I'm reading it as gender neutral. So this person is very this person overcame a lot of obstacles in their life, and they make very logical and precise decisions in order to gain the success they look forward to. This person is kind of cold and not very emotional about things. So I have a feeling that if Joe Biden is not able to be the next president, and it's possible that someone has invested in him, that becomes a matter. That becomes a problem. So it's very interesting because when we are looking at Donald Trump, definitely the devil and the page of pentacles, definitely the financial matters are very prominent, not in a good way. And for Joe Biden, it's not that bad, but it can also lead to the failure of being re-elected. I think there is a concern about the interference of the money he receives, or a donor is no longer interested in, investing in Joe Biden. So I feel like it is a past energy. So I feel like there is something from the past that might come up, and then people would judge the nature of the transaction, why this transaction would happen. Something like that. They can even think, oh, can it be a security concern? So, yeah, I think the monetary matter can be a hiccup, or can actually be a problem for Joe Biden to be re-elected again. And it's also possible that a female figure, as I said, maybe she's a donor, maybe someone from the past, she might do something, say something, or maybe the information of this person and this matter, this transaction, resurfacing, so becomes a problem for him. Okay. I'm sorry that I'm going very slow, because things have been difficult and my energy is still recovering. So thank you for being patient with me. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about I just gonna say Robert Kennedy Jr. Is it possible that Robert Kennedy Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be our next US president? Is it possible? Okay, so for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., when we talk about the King of Pentacles, we talk about finances. And of course, King of Pentacles, because it is a king. So I would say, yeah, it is possible. It is possible for him to be the president. And also, strength card, first of all, it is a major arcana card. And it's also about power. It's about a person's strength. But the strength is also about taming the beast. Like the person in the picture taming the lion. So I have a feeling that he's actually pretty good in finances and in money matters if he becomes the president. But there are some tendencies about him that has to be tamed. What are they? I don't. Well, probably I can sense it, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't follow politics very closely. I just vaguely sometimes I watch the videos about the interviews they do, but I don't have the full picture. But I can imagine him as someone who is pretty outspoken, and he might even say something that the other candidates would not normally say because they would think about, oh wow, if I say this, our supporters will be angry, or maybe our donors might get angry, or what are the consequences of saying this or that. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I feel like he doesn't care that much about how the others perceive his speech. Like he would just say what he believes in. So actually, I feel like this characteristic somehow aligns with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, he says what he believes in. Well, I don't know 100% if that's true, but he is also very outspoken, and sometimes he doesn't care much about how the others perceive him. Yeah, but the thing is, the strength card here is also talking about taming the beast. So if Robert F. Kennedy Jr., if he wants to be successful in being the president, he has to tame himself, because he needs to know that that's his strength, but then he also needs to put it in a way that everyone can connect with, not just part of the population. Because if part of the population thinks a person being outspoken, being brave, that doesn't mean other people in another spectrum would see the same way. The other people would see him as outrageous, out of touch. So I do think it's possible for him to be president, but the thing is, he has to sort out. He has to tame the beast within him, in order to align himself with not just particular groups of people, but all the people. He doesn't need to know all of us, but he needs to know how to deliver the message that all of us can resonate. And one of his strengths is finances, because King of Pentacles, of course, is about finances, prosperity. And I do believe that he has some kind of he definitely has a knowledge about prosperity and finances. But I think it's very important for him to know that his proposals for the people cannot be too overwhelming. Like he has to make some adjustments, because he has big ambitions. But the thing is, as a country, we have so many people. We all have our circumstances. If he intends to move everybody to one direction, even though it is a direction that will bring us stronger as a country, but then not everybody can follow that. So I think being considerate is something that can be a key for his success. Okay, so I just mentioned about the possibility. Yes, I do think it's possible. And I would like to dive into more about why it is possible that he will be successful in becoming the next president of the US. Why? What's the reason that, other than the financial aspect, what is the reason, or what are the reasons that make him possible to be our next president? So, Three of Cups, normally it means celebration. It means alliance, friendships. I think it's very obvious to me that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he can restore some of the relationships that are currently not so good. He knows how to break the barriers and rebuild or even build better relationships with possibly some countries and some things that are not working well right now, that are eight of swords means limitations and also the fear a country has. But the strength Robert has is he can turn the fear into something worth to be celebrated. He has the power to turn the fear, turn it around to something positive. So, collectively, if he is being elected as the next president, I think he's able to turn around the emotions of the public from fear to optimism. This is the strength that can lead him to be successful in the election. Does it mean in the long run it will be successful? I don't know, but at least for the election itself, this is auspicious because he can change the emotions from negative to positive. And I think some foreign relationships can improve because of him. I'm not going to mention the name of those countries that I can think about, but as we all know, in America, what countries we would feel negative about it, they are very obvious. But I think Robert has a different point of view, and he wants to bring in this point of view into the public, so we don't need to be always fearful about those countries or some people, but we can actually turn the fear into something more harmonious. Yeah, so I think in regards to relationships with other countries, I think he does have the strength to rebuild, to make it better. So let us talk about what will possibly be the reason why Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not going to be our next president. If so, what will be the reason that he cannot be the next president of the United States? King of Wands. It's very interesting. Why? Because when we were talking about Donald Trump, about why if he's not gonna be our next president, the reason will be King of Wands and Hangman. So right now we see this King of Wands again, and Ace of Pentacles is about the beginning of prosperity, and I wonder if there will be if I align this with the reading for Donald Trump, I would think there might be a link between if Donald Trump is gonna be defeated and if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is also gonna be defeated, then it's possible that the reason could be of the same nature or a same person. So in this case, I would think maybe the King of Wands would be someone who actually wins the election and promises the growth of prosperity of the country. Somebody who is very charismatic, and be very promising in bringing the growth in for the country. This is the first scenario. The second scenario is just like the other candidates. Robert can also be judged by some sort of payments or some transactional histories that can hinder his campaign. Or maybe he finds the passion with something else even more better than being the president. But I intuitively think this can be someone who actually who is actually the opponent of both Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy. So this can be someone else who actually wins the election. So because they promise a better growth, so that becomes the reason why he's not the president of the US. But we'll see. But I do see Robert Kennedy. He has some good chances. Yeah. Right now, I've read 3 candidates. I think he is looks like he has a better chance comparing with the other 2 right now. Okay. So, because I want to be fair, so I actually put in everyone who are running for president right now. I actually don't know them all, but anyway, I'll do all of them. Okay, so Christie. I don't know if I pronounced that right, so if I make a mistake, please correct me. Okay, so I would like to know, is Christie possible to be our next US president? Minor arcana. So because they are minor arcanas, I would say I feel like maybe less likely, because if someone is gonna be a president, that would be a major thing. It's gonna be a very powerful thing, and I would expect a major arcana to show up. However, the 8 of Pentacles and 2 of Pentacles, both of them, they are Pentacles, and it is a lot about finances. It's about employment. It's about craftsmanship. So I believe that if Chris is not going to be the president, he will still work very closely with the government. Maybe just continue to work in the same position as now, or maybe previous, or maybe a new position. And I also feel like maybe there's something foreign about him. It's about foreign relations, because the Two of Pentacles is about exchange, exchange of goods, exchange of money, trades, business. So yeah, the possibility is, I think, less likely, but we'll see. But I would still ask, if Chris is gonna be our next president, what will actually be their strength to win the election? Okay, so 9 of Cups, 10 of Wands. I believe that there's something about him. He would propose something that we all feel very oppressed and pressured, and he found a clue to make our dream come true. Something that is very burdening. Like Chris can actually turn it loose. What would that be? If there is such a thing that we all want to turn it loose, what would that be? That Chris knows how to turn it loose. Ten of Swords. Magician. So, magician is ruled by Mercury, and is also about the trickster energy, like something. Well, magician. The good thing about magician is they know how to turn something into something, or turn nothing into something. But the downside is it can be a trickster energy. It can be not truthful. So I would imagine, if Chris is being elected, this person knows how to turn loose of the trickster energy and bring out the truth. Because 10 of Swords is about failure. And I can imagine that we as the public, sometimes we do feel burdened when we know something is not true, but then we are forced into believing things. So in such case, I would think Chris might know how to turn loose of the limitations in communications, and very possibly even the media, or some things that we like, the news we watch, the media we consume, like this person, they know how to turn loose of the delusional side of things. And this is the strength of this person. And I can imagine that this person is also pretty good at transportation. So we might have some transportation concerns that can negatively impact the economy and development of the country. This person might know how to turn it loose. So so we can actually commune better and actually communicate better. Yeah. So right now I want to know about, if Chris is not possible to be our next president, what would be the reason? Oh, King of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Okay, so if I see these two as an event, Knight of Wands can be some very reckless energy, but very experimental, very courageous. King of Pentacles is about finance, prosperity, business, money. So I intuitively think maybe there's another candidate who is even more courageous than this candidate in regards to finances, to experiment new ways to gain prosperity. Another scenario is Chris might have some history that is not so good about recklessly investing in some business or something. So that might become a concern. Like people would think, will this person be stable in regards to finances? Will something be too experimental? Is too risky to do so? I think it's possible for Chris to propose to the public about some financial policies that are too outrageous and too experimental, so people don't feel like it is safe to do so. Okay. Yeah, I think it's about the reckless energy of the finances, financial policy, and it's also possible that the other candidate has a better financial approach. It's better than Chris approach. So yeah, I think this is it. Jill Stein. Okay, I want to know, will Jill Stein be possibly our next US president? So judgment card is a major arcana, and this is someone who can actually be very judgmental, and I'm not saying Jill themselves. I just talking about the card in general. The card can mean someone who is very judgmental, someone who gives command. If we're talking about the possibility, it is a major arcana. It is possible. But when Nine of Swords appear, along with judgment, I can think about the fear of being judged. Does Jill fear about being judged? Is it possible? I don't know, but it's possible. Nine of Swords is about worry. The situation can involve the worry of commanding so many people. Because of the Nine of Swords, I wouldn't say it is a positive card. So I would say it is a little bit less likely. But let's see. If Jill Stein is possible to be our next US president, what would be the reason? Jill will have an approach of breaking some restriction and barriers that have been quite a burden for the country. The approach will be kind of experimental and kind of like a pioneer of some sort of. To get a clarification about the devil. What would be the matter? Okay. Two of Cups. Nine of Wands. I think Nine of Wands is about someone who is wounded before and very guarded. I think Jill has the intention to rebuild some wounded relationships that are currently a restriction to the country. there are some alliances that have been broken, and Jill will want to reignite the conversation and partnership between countries who are currently at odds with each other. But there is also a concern because Knight of Wands is reckless energy. Even though the intention can be a good intention, but the problem is the way Jill wants to experiment this can be quite risky. But it is possible to, I would say, make friends with enemies and to cooperate with enemies. Okay, so if Jill is not possible to be our next president, what would be the reason? King of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. Okay, so Nine of Wands again. I think King of Pentacles obviously can be someone who is actually the opponent and who is very good at finances, prosperity, and business. And it's interesting that we see the Nine of Wands again, because we just saw the Nine of Wands previously as possibly the strength of why Jill can be our next president. But the problem is that strength can also be accompanied by weakness, because it is showing up here. So I think Jill might have a good idea about how to solve a relationship between countries, move it from stagnation to progression again. But the thing is, it's gonna hurt. So there is a flip side of the policy, and people know about it. So that's why I would personally say it is less likely to see Jill as our next president, because of the reason that both positive reasons and negative reasons, they are actually linked to each other. And paired with the Nine of Swords at the beginning, I would say they might say something or propose something that people will judge about, and because people know about the flip side. So maybe the approach or the proposal they currently have is not in depth enough to attract the support. Like we think we need more than that. We cannot just compromise, but we need more than compromise in order to be successful. so people were concerned about it. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to do it a little bit more quickly. I'm sorry, folks, because it's been really a long time since my last video. I'm just doing it really slowly. So I apologize for that. Okay. Marianne Williamson. Will Marianne be possibly our next US president? Okay, Chariot. Major Arcana. Chariot is about victory. So when it is paired with Two of Wands, Two of Wands is about waiting, and it's also about contemplation, choices. I wonder if Marianne would think about, if they win this election, what will be the choices that they have to make, or that they might need to sacrifice in order to gain the victory. Like, what is the price to win the election? On the other hand, it can mean it is waiting for it is a period of waiting for victory. So let's see if Marianne will be our next US president. What will be the strength that allows them to win? Ten of Cups, Three of Cups. So Three of Cups and Ten of Cups, cup cards, they mean emotions. Ten of Cups means family. Three of Cups, celebration, reunion. I think there is a concern about family values, and also I think it can point towards the withdrawal of foreign troops. I intuitively think it is possible, because Three of Cups is about gathering, reunion. The soldiers coming back to home, it is a kind of reunion. The good side of these two cards, they mean this person is less likely to be involved in wars with the other countries, because peace and family happiness is very important for this person. And this also points back at the Two of Wands and the Chariot I pulled earlier. I would question, will this person think, oh, family probably is better, is more important than the victory itself? So even though the Chariot card can point towards victory, I do also see the side of this person that is more about family happiness and concerns about family. So, yeah. The good side is a lot of wounds can be healed because this person does not like conflicts. Like they want peace and happiness. So if Marianne Williamson, if they become the president, the focus in happiness and family values are very prominent, and this can be the strength of this candidate. So, what will possibly make Marianne not our next president? What will be the reason? Ace of Cups, Six of Swords. So, Six of Swords usually about foreign travels and also about healing from turbulence that happened before. I wonder if Marianne actually has some wound or some pain from the past experiences that actually makes them a person who likes peace more than everything. And the emotional side, the emotional nature is more important than the other things. Because as a human being, most of us, we do not want our loved ones to leave us or to be sent overseas to be in the battle. Like most of us, we wouldn't expect that. Because of the emotional attachments. So I think the reason why the reason that can make Marianne not possible to be the next president is because of the emotional nature, and there might be an imbalance of policies that is tilting towards the emotional side of things too much. So the practicality for prosperity might be lacking. So that can be the reason why Marianne can be less likely to be the next president at this point. Okay. So, I would like to know, will Dean Phillips be possibly our next US president? World card, major arcana, and it is the biggest, the largest, and the final card of the major arcana. is about including everyone, everything, the final stage of something. Usually, if I just look at it as one single card, definitely it would say it would be an achievement, can be a victory. But when I look at the Two of Swords, when it is paired with the World card, it can be the indecisiveness about how to include everything. It might be difficult to include everything in order to win the election. Like how can that be possible? How can everything can be included? This is something that Dean Phillips need to think about. And the World card is also about protection. It's about how to maintain and include everything we already have. I can imagine border walls, immigration policy. So Dean Phillips, they have a, I use they as a pronoun because I don't even know if, I don't even know some of the gender, so that's why I use they. I think they are very conscious about the border wall. The border of the country is very important. But how to make a decision to make the border a working one, like this is a big matter. So if we just talk about, is it possible? I would say maybe it is possible because the World card is a very significant card. But paired with the Two of Swords, I would question if Dean has the ability to include everything in the policy. So right now, I would ask, if Dean Phillips is gonna be our next president, what is the strongest point that lead to the success? The Empress, Eight of Wands. So the Empress is about prosperity, is about agriculture, is about food, is about beauty. Of course, at the Empress is often it is about mother. So mother means protection. So once again, I think Dean Phillips has a pretty good judgment about border walls and how we should build a border, or about the immigration policy and how to protect our country, our resources. I think this is the strength that Dean Phillips has. And they also have a plan to implement something pretty quickly. pretty quickly, because Eight of Wands is about swiftness. When Eight of Wands is paired with the Empress, it's the swiftness of protection, because they see the it is necessary to protect the country as soon as possible. So I think in this campaign of Dean Phillips, they will point out something that we are not always aware of, but we actually need to be careful. And they know that we need to be careful. So that's why a lot of protection is being emphasized by this campaign by Dean Phillips. I don't know anything about the campaign, but I would believe that it's about protection of our country, our resources, and how to nurturing our resources, and to be prosperous enough to not rely on any other countries. Because, for the Empress, the mother provides everything for the baby, right? So Dean Phillips would expect to bring out the power of the people to be independent, to be resourcefulness, so that we don't need to worry too much about how the other countries are doing, because we can serve ourselves. We have our resources to nurture ourselves. So next, if Dean Phillips is not possible to be our next president, what will be the reason for that? Three of Pentacles, Two of Swords. First scenario I can think about is students. Three of Pentacles usually is about school, is about education. And when it is paired with Two of Swords, it can actually mean there are some decisions about educational system that might not be favorable for the public. The second scenario is Three of Pentacles can mean three people or multiple people, or actually even countries. They are talking about how to build something, to build something better. I don't know why. For some reason, this looks like Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Is it possible that Dean Phillips has some policies that are actually aligned with these three North American countries, and there might be a decision that has to be made and might not actually work? So I would say the Three of Pentacles can, definitely mean more than two parties. or actually maybe among Democrats, among Republicans, and among the independent people, groups of people, among these three groups of supporters, Dean Phillips has to make a choice, a very wise choice, to actually seek the support from all three categories. But it's difficult. Once a decision is made, it's impossible to actually be peaceful for the third group. This is what I can think about. So, yeah, this one is about Dean Phillips. Okay. Cornel West. I want to know, is Cornel West possible to be our next president of the United States? Ace of Cups, Six of Swords. Again, I think it is less likely. First of all, minor arcana. And I do believe that this person has emotional past, and also very, very concerned about the emotions of the soldiers and people who live abroad. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but because of its emotional nature, and maybe there are resentments, family resentments, or maybe friends, loved ones, who are being forced to live in other places. Maybe they are soldiers. So there's an emphasis in like how to care about the people who are being maybe left behind by their homeland. So yeah, I think it's about ending some wars, possible. But if I just look at the possibility to be the next president, I think it's less likely. But I will still ask, if Cornel West will be our next president, what will be the reason? Okay, so Cornel West actually is pretty good at finances, and giving the assistance and the nurturance to the business community, so they know how to do it. Six of Pentacles is also about giving without return. But because it's paired with King of Pentacles, it becomes something that prospers. So Cornel, I think they actually know some things that can be done to turn poverty into prosperity. Can be funding countries that are poor and that actually help our prosperity, helping the misfortunate. So, if Cornel West is not possible to be our next US president, what will be the reason? Hierophants, Empress, Hierophants, when they are paired together, they can be because of an elderly woman, maybe a mothering figure who is getting old and needs to be taken care of. Hierophant can also mean doctors, higher education, and traditions. Empress can mean the feminine side, feminine energy. Will there be a conflict of interest in reproductive rights? It is possible. Something about medical procedures? It is possible. There might be some traditional point of views that are not being accepted by the public that Cornel West is trying to bring out. Yeah, so this might not work well for Cornel West. Maybe too traditional, or maybe just maybe the tendency to secure the traditional values are overly emphasized, so can be an issue. Even though I know that Cornel West would actually like to protect, but the thing is, people would be concerned if things are going backward, because we cannot just protect ourselves. We also need to reach out from time to time and to be innovative, right? So this can be a concern. Okay. So next one. Ron DeSantis. Is it possible for Ron DeSantis to be our next US president? Is it possible? The moon card. Moon card means subconscious, and moon, as we all know, moon has different phases, and the tides can change according to different phases of the moon. It is changeable, and is also about insecurity. 10 of Cups means family. But at the same time, the moon can also mean being protective towards the family and the homeland. So, but I sort of feel like I want to say 10 of Cups as a positive card, because It is about happiness and joy. It's about family values. But when the moon card comes up, it's like 50-50. There is the nurturance, but there is also about the uncertainty, like what's happening under the surface. For someone who can win the election, that person must have the power to overcome the uncertainties of the emotions, which is emotion is represented by the moon. So I'm not sure if it's possible, but Ten of Cups can be very fulfilling. I have to sip some water. So, if Ron DeSantis is really gonna be our next US president, what will be the reason? Oops. Okay. Three of Cups. Oh, Three of Swords. Something we collectively feel sad and we mourn about. He can bring the joy. He can bring back the happiness of something we feel pain, we feel hurt about. And because both cards, they are 3, so the number 3, I intuitively think is about an alliance that is not doing so well right now, but he will try to make it works well again. So it's about repairing the relationships among 3 countries or 3 areas. Again, I would think it is about the USA, Canada, and Mexico. Because as we all know, we have tensions in recent years with Mexico and also sometimes Canada a little bit. So I wonder, I think Ron DeSantis might want to repair the relationship among these 3 places. But it can be also about something else we feel very hurt about. I want to get a little bit more clarity. Other than the 3 countries I just mentioned, is there something more specific that Ron DeSantis want to heal? The Sun card and the Moon card. He wants to bring in the balance. He wants to bring the clarity to the unknown. Let me put it this way. He wants to bring the clarity to something we don't know. He wants truth. I believe that in some ways he is a truth seeker. He wants to bring the clarity to some matters that we are not sure about. But however, I have to emphasize the fact that we all have our own standard of what is being the truth and what is being not truth. He has a very strong tendency to bring out the truth of some matters that he is concerned about. But does it mean that it's aligning with all of us? Not necessarily. So for some reason, I feel like I have to emphasize this side of the reality, because his truth is not everybody's truth, but definitely he has the moral to bring out, to bring the clarity to at least some of us who are being lied to. And the moon card and sun card, they are also about the balance and the reflection. I believe that Ron DeSantis has the power to understand what is the cause and effect. What reasons can lead to a good result or a bad result. And I believe that partnerships can also be a strength, because when a moon card and sun card, they appear together, because the moon reflects the light of the sun. So he knows that there is a need to be fair. There is a need to be cooperative. So this is the strength. The cooperative tendency to bring happiness and joy to unhappy situation. So what will be if Ron DeSantis is not possible to be our next president? What will be the reason? Hangman, Knight of Pentacles. So, Knight of Pentacles is about being determined. But the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight among all of the knights in the deck. So this is about patience. This is about determination. And it is nothing quick, nothing swift. But it is about being precise at the work, slowly building towards the goal. But Hangman means sacrifice. It can also mean delay. Knight of Pentacles, sometimes it can mean health conditions. So I wonder if he is healthy enough. Well, he is not an old guy, but sometimes we don't know. Maybe there are some health concerns. Maybe not himself, but some people around him. Can also be medicine policy for the country. Maybe he would propose some Medicare proposal that might not be favorable to the public. This can be a reason. On the other hand, Knight of Pentacles with Hangman, maybe it is because something is being too slow. The Knight of Pentacles might not be able to catch up with the delays and also the it's just not fast enough to act. This can be a problem. But I feel like maybe he wants to have a tendency to decrease the coverage of healthcare, some sort of. So this might not work in his favor. Okay. Nikki Haley. Want to know, is Nikki Haley possibly be our next U.S. president? Nikki Haley. Okay, so Chariot, major arcana, it means victory, determination, protection. Six of Swords, Chariot can also mean a war with other countries, other people. Six of Swords means people living abroad, moving abroad. So if I only look at the Chariot card, I would say it is a very good card because it means victory. But when it is paired with Six of Swords, I would think, is there a concern about the heritage? Like, I think there are some people who might think if she is American enough, even though she's born and raised in the US, it can also mean there is a concern about any kind of wars with other countries that are currently fighting. So I'm not sure. Because of the Six of Swords, I kind of feel like it's something about the heritage, I feel like. So next, I would like to know if Nikki Haley is really gonna be our next president. What actually leads her to the success? So Ten of Cups means family. Six of Swords is about foreign lands, foreign places. And I can immediately think about family move. So I think because she has foreign ancestors who actually immigrated to the U.S. before she was born. Well, I don't know much about her history, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I know, as far as I know, yeah, she was born in an immigrant family. So this actually becomes a strength. The strength comes from people who share the same heritage and similar circumstances, who moved from other countries to seek for freedom and prosperity in the US. And this is their strength. And also, I think defending the family values, because Ten of Cups is also about traditions and family values. And she might also has the tendency to share the family values that she has to other countries, to foreign lands, and promote them that we Americans, we do this, do that to secure family matters and family values, something like that. Okay. So if Nikki Haley is not gonna be our president, what would be the reason? The Devil, Knight of Wands. So as we remember, the Devil card actually appears when we're talking about Donald Trump. So maybe I can imagine that Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, they might actually be facing the similar situation, or actually a person or a community that is having limitations. It's possible that Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, they share some similarities in the obstacles in their campaign. Knight of Wands is about experiments, is about being courageous, being experimental. But because of the nature of the devil is about, sometimes can be about obsession and addictions, can be too much about possession and the material side of things. So I would say it's possible that it's difficult to break the restrictions and manipulation. Knight of Wands is experimental, so in one way or the other, if she's being too experimental about breaking the restriction or manipulation, it can backfire. But on the other hand, if she does not allow herself to be courageous, then the manipulation will not stop. So it cuts both ways. That is what I can say. I feel like I want to clarify about the matter of Knight of Wands and the Devil. Is there a specific matter represented by these two cards? King of Pentacles, Page of Wands. So I think it can be job related and financial policy, employment. I think somebody has a better plan than her. Someone who is a lot better with finances and with young people, because Page of Wands is about young people. Knight of Wands is also a young energy. So I think Nikki Haley's campaign, there might be some areas that are lacking for future generations, or maybe the younger people we currently have. So the younger supporters, they might turn the support to someone who actually is more financially capable, and also knowing when we can be experimental about job and employment. Like some new ideas about job and employment. Nikki Haley does not have that. And the younger people are very aware of the new trends and new possibilities about employment and about the future of, we constantly have new innovations and new positions coming out, and maybe Nikki Haley is too traditional about those ideas. She wants to hold on to the standard of things and secure the traditional values, but when we get too traditional, we don't change, and without change we will not improve, and we will fall behind. That's the problem. So I can imagine that there is another candidate who is more who is a lot more better than just secure ourselves. The other candidate would actually do something to be innovative, to accept a new standard, to create new standards that will bring new jobs, new employment to the society. So this is something that Nikki Haley is sort of weak. Okay. Because if we want to create prosperity, there are always risks. But if we don't take the risks, it's not possible to bring in more wealth. So let me correct myself. I don't mean not possible to bring in more wealth, but bring in more growth. We can always create wealth based on traditional values and traditional stuff, but sometimes we need growth too, because the other countries, they keep growing, and we also need to grow, right? So that's the thing. So here comes the last candidate for today. Asa Hutchinson. If I pronounce it wrong, I apologize. Is Asa Hutchinson possibly be the next US president? And sorry for the volume because it's getting pretty late, so I try to not to be too loud. Okay, so minor arcanas. I would say it is sort of less likely, but Three of Cups can mean celebration, so it can be a good sign. But when it's paired with Four of Cups is about lack, is about dissatisfaction, daydreaming, and this person is not fulfilled. The person in the card, it means not being fulfilled. When it's paired with Three of Cups, I can think about not reaching the status of celebration. So I feel like it's less likely. So if Asa Hutchinson is gonna be our next president, what brings him to the success? Well, I just figured that he's not the last person I will do today. I will read today. There's one that I think I missed. I'll go back. Yeah. So, what is Asa Hutchinson's strength to be successful in becoming the next US president? Five of Wands means conflict. Queen of Swords means someone who is being very logical and very persistent, and they have a lot of wisdom. In this case, I think Asa Hutchinson, he actually knows a lot about conflicts and probably how to deal with conflicts. But if he is becoming the president, I feel like the trend will be more combative. Five of Wands, even though it's about conflict, it's also about creativity. It brings out new ideas, and in the process of brainstorming, there are many things that can actually happen, right? Maybe the negative side is being too combative and not emotional enough. But in this case, he does have the power to actually ignite creative process. But in the process, there are a lot of conflicts can happen also. So, what if Asa Hutchinson is not possible to be our next US president? What will be the reason? Three of Swords, Seven of Pentacles. So Three of Swords definitely means heartbroken, sadness. Seven of Pentacles is about reflection, waiting, probably waiting for something to happen, but it doesn't happen. So I think in his campaign or approach, there might be some major things that he thinks it is going right for him, but it's not. He might actually missed something very important, that we as a country feel pain about waiting for a resolution. But he thinks it's okay. It's not a big deal. So I think there's something that he actually needs to be more initiative in tackling the issue, but not just reflecting about it. Five of Wands. I think, even though I want to pull a card, but Five of Wands just appeared previously in his strength. So again, when his strength and weakness actually appear together. So in regards to his policy, there might be something, maybe there's something that cuts both ways. So that makes the whole thing a compromise. But anyway, I do want to pull a clarification about Three of Swords and Seven of Pentacles. What are they pointing towards? Yeah, okay. It's about conflict, it's about giving. Giving to the poor. Welfare. Conflict of interest. I don't think he wants to take care of the needy too much. Because previously Queen of Swords and Five of Wands, they actually mean using a very scientific, logical, maybe not too scientific, but a very logical, personally logical approach based on past experiences to tackle conflicts. And over here, when the Five of Wands appears with the Six of Pentacles, that means conflicts of giving to the poor. I think he will want to limit the spending of the country, probably not only domestically but internationally. So, but people will be aware and think it as not a good thing, because when you imagine when you stop giving, you can also stop receiving. He might think if we cut the spending, at least we can preserve our resources, like the person in Seven of Pentacles. But the thing is, what he thinks we should preserve, the plan might go wrong. In certain ways, we also need to expand. So I would say it is a very, if he's not possible to be the president, it can be because he really wants to protect and preserve what we have as a country. But the tides are changing. It cannot be fulfilling the growth of the country in the long run. So if he has to turn things around, he has to think about the dynamics of giving and receiving. He might be too concerned about the negative side of giving to the poor. Of course, we cannot always give to the poor without any conditions, but at the same time, we have to understand the dynamics between that. Because giving is necessary to gain. In this case, okay. So I feel like I skipped one person, and I think he is Vivek Ramaswamy. I really apologize for that. Because the video is too long, I can't even I can't even remember if I have read Vivek already, but I don't think I have, so my apology. Bear with me. Is Vivek Ramaswamy possible to be our next US president? Okay. Minor arcana. First of all, I would say maybe it's less likely because they are minor. Two of Pentacles means adaptability, adapt to situations that are fluctuating. Queen of Wands means mothering and also creativity. When it's paired with Two of Pentacles, it can mean the adjustment of probably a female, and also the Two of Pentacles can mean transactions, financial transactions. Will there be a change of donor? maybe a change in family situation, something that he has been mothering, or maybe developing. So far, maybe it meets a point where there are changes that he has to adapt. I can also imagine Queen of Wands as protection, protective energy. And Two of Pentacles, it can be also about financial interest. So to protect financial interest, will he be doing something better than a president, being a president? It's possible. So let's say if Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be our next president, what is the strength that brings him to success? Page of Wands, employments, younger people. King of Swords, logical. So he can give a very logical approach to the employment situation of this country. So I want to know, as he's able to bring a logical solution to employment, does it actually gonna really work in this country's favor? Yeah, I think he's being very logical about the employment situation. Definitely, some people find that favorable, but when I'm asking about whether it will be successful, I was hoping if it is a major arcana, then it will be more of an indication. But both are actually minor. But six is very favorable in success. Six of Pentacles, Six of Cups can mean success, because Six of Pentacles is about giving to the poor. Definitely someone is in a more in a much better position financially, so that they can give. I'm thinking about he has a very logical approach to help the needy and help the people who are not able to find jobs to actually find jobs. So that's what's his strength. So as Vivek has this plan to help the poor to find jobs, is it aligned with the situation we are facing as a country? Is the timing right? So, for some reason, I asked about the timing, and it brings the Hierophant and the strength. I think Vivek might have something very innovative in his mind, because he finds that logical too. But the older traditions and older people can be a resistance, because strength card is about taming the beast. The older people, the more traditional people, they want to tame Vivek's tendency to bring this approach of employment to the country. There's something that the older generations might be fearful or might be concerned about the approach. So I think the timing is not really right. And then for if Vivek is not possible to be our next president, what would be the reason? Okay, 9 of Pentacles and the World. So for this, I can think about 9 of Pentacles is about self-reliance. Financial prosperity, self-reliance. But the World card is actually literally means the world. After so many years of globalization, there's so many things that are actually intertwined among countries. So the big question is about how to be entirely self-reliant. Is it possible to do so in this age, in this time? So I think he has the tendency to I think that the globalized economy and self-reliance, the manufacturing sector, this area can be a problem for him. Like how to achieve self-reliance, but then there are some components that needs cooperation, I think. I need a clarification about this matter. So I think, well, the star card means renewal. Ten of Wands is about the stress. I think Vivek Ramaswamy he wants to renew some I think maybe manufacturing process within a country, but the thing is, there are things that are very difficult to renew, and he might meet resistance. So maybe not particularly want to renew particular things that are made in the country, but the dynamics itself can be difficult for him. I imagine that maybe because there are people who actually manipulating the manufacturing process, and they do have profits in outsourcing, outsourcing the services and the production outside of the US. So even though I think Vivek wants to bring back a lot of businesses, it's difficult, and it might not work in his favor. So this is the reading for today. I know the setup is not perfect, and I know I'm pretty slow, but I hope you still find this video useful. Hopefully I will do another video soon, and I wish you all a happy new year, and let's be kind to each other no matter who we support. Take care. Bye.